The August 4th regular meeting of the West Haven ARPA Committee now come to order. Will each member and paid professional state your name for the record?
Mark Malaspina, Council.
White Knowles. Ken Ferris. Gary Roberto.
Iris Diaz.
And Ken Carney. Do we have a quorum?
5, yep.
Okay. I'm going to ask for a motion to waive the reading of the July 7th regular meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. May I have a motion to approve the July 7th regular meeting minutes as written? Do I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's go to Chairman's report. A, general report. You have an updated tracker in front of you. We have spent a couple weeks now with city officials and finance to make sure our numbers match. Everything in green is a match. Everything in red requires more work on the city's part. And the highlighted items require work on our part. Any questions on the tracker? All right. Let's go right to the library. We're on pages 14 through 20. You'll see a letter dated July 27th, 2026. Who from the library are we going to talk to tonight?
I'll make a presentation.
Okay. So before you do, I just want to thank everybody for coming. We've had the pleasure of dealing with Bill and Colleen up till now, and there have been several different plans that you have presented. Each plan costs us money and time to make sure it's compliant with federal guidelines. So we wanted to get you here tonight to make sure that this is the final plan because we're running out of time. Okay? And with that, take it away.
Sure. So I thought it would be helpful to kind of give a little bit of a background. But first of all, my name is Stephanie Cummings. I'm an attorney with Carmody, Torrance, Sandbeck, and Hennessy, and I represent the BIA. And I was asked to come here tonight to give a presentation with respect to this project at 703 Orange Avenue and 89 New Bern Street. But I think it's important to kind of look back as to how we got here. There was, the statement from the chairman that this has been a multiple round of how are we going to spend these ARPA monies, and I thought some context would help you understand the process. So the Allentown Library was initially housed in 1 Forest Road. It was a city-owned property. The library had a very long-term relationship with the city. Back in 2020, the city desired to sell that building and gave the BIA a short term to be able to get out of that building. Since then, the BIA has been looking for a home in Allentown. The city has directed, so the BIA currently owns property at 634 Orange Avenue, which is across the way, and the city has made some suggestions with respect to properties that should be investigated for good use of the ARPA funds. One of those properties was the Blake Building, which the BIA underwent a very long process of trying to acquire responsibly and incurred a lot of fees and costs of their own, including architectural fees, application fees, legal fees. That process actually started back in February 20th, 2025 with an LOI for a purchase price of $550,000. We learned that that property had significant environmental concerns, including a potential investigation by the EPA, which was not necessarily disclosed to us, but we found out when the owner of that property sued the contractor that was the cause, the purported cause of the environmental contamination. We also learned that the Department of Public Health, the Connecticut Department of Public Health, came in and locked the door. So understandably, the BIA had concerns about proceeding with a purchase of a property that the EPA was investigating, that the DPH had concerns with. There was significant negotiation with the powers that owned the property, and that's the literal name, not the powers that be, but the powers. And even though we had an LOI, we kept following up and following up and following up on the contract saying, are you going to sign the contract? We've come to an agreement on the language. What are you doing? You have our $55,000 deposit. Why are we not moving forward with this? Ultimately, the deal fell apart. In October, they came back to us and said, hey, we're still interested in purchasing this building, but now we want more money for it. So, yeah. So, ongoing conversations. what is happening with the EPA investigation? They won't tell us. They won't connect us with the council. They wanted to put that to bed. So we signed another LOI, repurposed the original agreement. We agreed to increase the purchase price because the VAA really wanted to get into a new home in Allentown. Okay, so October 29th comes. The powers call and say, we've changed the deal yet again. Now we want to close in 2 weeks, cash offer, and you may not have any due diligence contingencies. Again, we have an EPA investigation, we have DPH coming in and locking the doors, so we did not think it would be a good steward of, ARPA monies to then turn around and say, well, we'll cover our eyes, we know that all these problems exist. We'll just hand you over some cash and be done with it. So that deal fell apart as well. Now we are here looking again for a property that has been suggested to us by the city. This is, I'm kind of getting my bang for my buck here on this project. We are actually going before the Planning and Zoning Commission next week. So these are my plans for the Planning and Zoning Commission, but I thought it was a good demonstration of the kind of work that the VAA has put into finding the right property that can actually suit their needs.
Can you tell us the address, just confirm the address of those two properties?
Yeah, sure. It's 703 Orange Avenue and 89 Newburgh Street.
And the idea is to combine the properties?
That's correct.
And how many parking spaces are in Newburgh, do you know?
Well, there's no parking spaces on Newburgh currently. It's a residential home.
I thought there was a parking lot back there.
No.
No?
Nope. So I can answer your question with. Here is the existing. So this is what they call the existing conditions survey. So you can see here what is currently existing on this property. So this is 703 Orange Avenue. This is their current parking lot. 89 Newburgh. There's just a house here and then a driveway that comes out onto Newburgh Street. This is kind of the outlier, this 89 Newburgh Street, because it's surrounded on this side of Newburgh Street with commercial enterprises. If you were to go, I guess, west, Newburgh does have some residential.
Kerrigan
properties.
School is right where her hand is, right there.
Yeah, so yep, Kerrigan School, the Blake Building, these are all kind of in the same general area. Now, all of the properties that we've looked at, the way that the properties are zoned, do require us to go for a special permit because the library is not as of right in this district. Had we been in a residential district, it would be as of right, but because of the commercial nature, we do have to go before the commission and get that special permit approval in accordance with the site plan.
Is it the same owner of both properties?
Yes, Richard Morse.
And the deal, just so we understand, is for both properties?
That's correct, yep.
And without Newburgh Street, you wouldn't have the parking that you would need for the
You
library.
need both parcels to be able to effectuate the library, so this is kind of what it's looking like at the end. So this is our proposal of what the site work is gonna look like at the end. So you're gonna have a main entrance in off of Orange Avenue, you're gonna pass through, there's gonna be a separate entrance back here, but the zoning regulations require your primary ingress and egress to be on a main thoroughfare. So you're coming in off of Orange Avenue, but you do have this ancillary access.
How many
to the
square
back.
feet are you proposing to add to the building?
Oh, we're taking down the two buildings.
Or are you building new?
We have to build new, according to the engineer.
And how many square feet is that?
It's about 13,012 So it's a two-floor building, this rectangular shape, kind of your average building, right? There's nothing really special about the outline of the building, parking around it, which we think is gonna be sufficient. Because it's a quasi-municipal use, there's no set number of parking spaces. It's really at the discretion of the committee. So we have, and now this has not been heard yet before the committee, so I can't tell you what they're going to say. We're going before them next week, actually next Tuesday. So we entered into, got my timeline here, so the property came to our knowledge, entered into an LOI on June 24th. In order to get on and to meet the deadlines, we kind of backed into your deadline of September 15th for the closing date. That's what's in our contract. But in order to get the approvals that we need to operate a library, we had to go before the commission. So we very, very quickly put together this package. Codescodi and Associates is our engineer. So they put together a very extensive package. As you can see, these kinds of renderings take a significant amount of effort. That submission was made on July 8th. Underneath the LOI, July 17th, we entered into the purchase and sale agreement. The hearing is going to be next week, and we are prepared to close on or before September 15th. in order to make the deadline. So we have really made significant progress on this piece of property. Typically, these kinds of drawings would be a longer period of time. So, I think we probably gave Codescoti some advanced blood pressure in asking him to turn this around so quickly for us. But we're in our diligence period. Phase 1 is being conducted. We're taking all of the traditional steps that one would take in acquiring a piece of property. We're not so concerned about what the inside of these 2 existing buildings look like, because we're going to take them down. And that was an engineering decision that he just felt that it would not be appropriate or good to repurpose them. So that wasn't a BIA decision, it was a recommendation by the engineer.
Has anyone given you an estimate on what it would cost to build that building?
I don't believe so, no. We are able to kind of utilize prior construction costs, but, to your point about the commission has incurred plenty of expenses, so has the BIA. So they wanted to be responsible stewards and make sure that they were going to be able to get the property, make sure they can get the diligence before they expended any additional monies in designing the property or in determining what the cost of construction is going to be. There's some, so this is kind of what we anticipate it looking like. Now, field conditions may, if we need to move our storm system around, those kinds of things may change that, but we do anticipate that it looks substantially like this.
What is the setback from the street?
This is actually increasing the setback. So the current setback is
what I'm
3
saying.
feet. Yeah. So we're actually going to be moving back, I think it's 10 feet off the street.
It's 10 feet.
Yeah, 10 feet. So
10 feet off the street?
the new building will be 10 feet, the current building is 3 feet.
Off of the US one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can show you what the current,
That wasn't really going.
that I don't know. So you can see this, here's the existing structure. I mean, you're looking at, this is how close that current one is. So we're actually creating less nonconformities, but you can't go all the way back, just the nature of these older parcels. They're difficult, and especially the contour here is very interesting. This is historic. I don't know why it's cut like this. But you can see that we're going to be pulling this building back. This one will be coming down. It'll actually, I think, enhance the area quite a bit.
Has anyone looked at asbestos, PCBs, or lead in the existing building?
I don't believe we have, but we would obviously make sure that if there was anything of that nature in these properties, the phase 1 is underway, so they are taking all
They
of
should have
those.
that report by the end of the week.
Yeah, so I mean, this has been a very truncated process. I mean, we only got into the LOI as of June 24th, so all of these pieces of the ordinary commercial process have been put the pedal to the metal.
So before I start, anybody have any questions?
There's no access to US one.
No, there is.
With a driveway there?
Yep, so you're gonna have a driveway right here, and then but you're also gonna have this ability to turn out onto Newburn Street and then come down Fairfax, so there is another exit. So you don't have to necessarily exit onto Route 1. So you have one primary coming in. This is the existing.
Oh, okay.
So here's where the existing entrance is, and then here, we're keeping it consistent with where the current entrance is, but then you'll also have, because now we'll have ownership of both properties combined, you'll be able to access out through Newburn and come down Fairfax. And the location, as we talked about with Carrington School and the residential, up the western side, it's gonna be a nice walking area, and it's actually better, we've got sidewalks on this side of the street, so we think it'll be a great addition to the community.
All right, any other questions? All right, so let me just kind of share with you where I think we are. So the challenge we have is we are able to move money between projects, but we're not able to create another project since December of '24 that we refer to as D-Day. So if we have money and it doesn't fit in one of the buckets, it gets clawed back by the feds. The only bucket that we can put the library money in is the library or paving. And our paving bucket closes on September 15th. And that's the problem, okay? I'm also told that if you buy this property and you don't use it for what it's supposed to be used for, you have to speak to the feds and they have a chance of asking for their money back. If you sell the property, you have to get permission from the feds, and they will want the funds back, okay? That being said, you said 13,800 square feet?
12,800.
12,800 feet. If you take, if you take in consideration the current code, construction costs today, the fact that this will be a prevailing wage job, without demo, without your parking lot, that's an $8 million project. And then you put your demo and parking lot on top of it. Then you have to outfit with FF&E, so you're really gonna hit $10 million on that project. Our concern is, if you spend the ARPA funds, where does the money come from, $10 million to finish this job, and when does it get finished?
Sure. So I would invite Bill or Colleen to come up and speak about the funding. This has been an ongoing conversation, because obviously we anticipate it, and,
Sure.
with a site plan, you have 5 years. So we've already thought about those elements. How are we gonna be able to fundraise for this? So we anticipate leveraging our state delegation. There are funds available from the state library. There are SIF funds available, a capital campaign. So it's going to be a compilation of a lot of different factors that will have to be leveraged in order to, as any nonprofit does. This is not a story untold by other nonprofits, and we are certainly familiar with the federal regulations with respect to, utilizing the federal monies and what restrictions that puts on. I actually have them here with me tonight, so the board is very well aware of them. So what you're saying is no surprise to any of the people saying.
I mean, you understand that the worst-case scenario is,
We spend almost $1 million in federal money, only to find out that the project cannot go forward because of lack of funding. That's a major problem. That means $1 million gets sucked back out of the city that could have been used somewhere else. That's what we're concerned about. What funds are on hand now to do this project? Are there any funds on hand now?
I mean, they have an endowment, they could,
Okay,
obviously, we can't apply for any of the other grants until we own property.
yeah. What percentage could you use of the endowment to cover $10 million cost, do you know?
I mean,
10%.
So you think you have to raise $9 million after you buy the property?
I don't think it's necessarily a raising question. I think it's the utilization of additional grants, so $2 million coming from the state library. There's some money with SPIF. I know that we talked about leveraging the state delegation, the federal delegation.
Murphy and Blumenthal had a project, a program that we get money from. So, I mean, there's plenty of money to be had through the state and through the federal government. It's just a matter of, we can't obviously apply for anything or start a capital campaign until we own the property.
Are you allowed to use other federal, I thought we couldn't use federal funds on a federally funded, with ARPA funds. I thought they couldn't be used. I was told early on. They could be, yeah? I don't know if you look into that.
It would be, it would be a plus for them to use federal funds, having already.
Some of the grants, I was talking to Olivia, some of the federal grants, they couldn't mix with ARPA. That was my concern. Yeah.
From our perspective, the worst case scenario is finally having an Allentown library back online. This has been a very long journey for the BIA, and they've been really trying to be responsible stewards of their money. We could have closed our eyes and purchased the Blake building, and, with all of those issues, but we did our due diligence, and we insisted on due diligence, and when they refused to do that, then we were forced to walk away. It wasn't for lack of effort. We were in that process for over a year, but we're not gonna buy something that we don't actually think can come to fruition.
Building's still boarded up, so God knows what's going on.
Yeah, that wasn't viable. And tell me, you also bought a bus recently, correct?
Yes, we bought a full-scale bookmobile that will be a full mobile library.
And,
It was bought 100% with an endowment plus.
and how much did that cost?
$429,000. We will also be getting some grant funding to help pay for some of that as well.
And it was actually very exciting. This is gonna be the first mobile library in the state, so they wanted to do some highlighting of it. So there's definitely been a lot of state recognition for the good work.
And we are getting some funding from the Education Network as well, for all of the technology work that's being done on the bus. So we are getting some grants for that.
And a library nerd, I'm very excited about this.
So, the other issue is it has to pass an appraisal, okay? So the mayor signed an agreement with Blue Ribbon Appraisals to do the appraisal on the building. If that doesn't meet the sale price, that's another obstacle we have to overcome.
Yeah, I mean, we
So-
think that it's going to appraise out. I didn't know that the mayor had signed it. My understanding was that they were still in conversations. We've agreed to be able to do the appraisal as long as
Yeah.
it's certified to us.
It is.
So that we can then utilize it in case there's a
It'll
negotiation.
be your appraisal.
Great.
Yeah. Have you?
And again, I do want to just go back,
Yeah.
your concern about the appraisal is heard, but I think it's demonstrated by the fact that we walked away from properties that were not tenable, that we are trying to be good stewards of the money. We're not just rushing into something sight unseen. I mean, the amount of, lateral amount of work that has been done in a short period of time to get this over the finish line and to do it in a good faith way.
No, I
think
understand that, and
there's-
you guys have worked with
This
this.
engineer for a while, and he's a good guy. I just don't know if that house and that small building are gonna appraise out at 975, whatever the number is. That's a problem.
And I think that was, why the DIA wanted to make sure that they had the opportunity to correspond with the appraiser to understand what the use of this property is going to be, not necessarily in its current state of a residential house in the midst of a commercial district and an older building, but what this property could look like once merged and utilized as a uniform piece.
So, let me ask
This guy's a
you,
question. Would it not make sense to use the ARPA funds to reimburse you for the bus? Now that money's locked up, you got it, you can release that money towards this project, and then if you do meet these goals and you do meet the appraisal in the short time frame, the rest of the money could then follow? Wouldn't that be a bird in hand and be a little bit better than gambling everything on this? That's an expensive process. That's a $10 million process. I don't know that that's gonna happen in the next couple of years. And I don't know that the building's gonna appraise out at 975, but if you gave me the bus and I reimbursed you for that, you would have that money locked up, and then as you continue down this journey with the deadlines we have in place, we could release the rest of the money towards this if you meet those goals. If this thing doesn't appraise out, it's over.
So let me just make sure
Yeah.
that I'm hearing you correctly. Are you saying that you're willing to provide a reimbursement for the bus in full and then also commit the rest of the funding available towards the acquisition of this
well,
property?
so.
What I'm suggesting is that we reimburse you for the bus, which was the last meeting we had, we talked about the bus, and that price tag is about what we were looking at, okay? Now you've got that money. And then as you continue this journey, if you, well, I'd have to check with the accountants. I don't know if I can do two projects, so you bring up a good point. I'd have to check with the accountants.
Yeah, and the journey it's coming
yeah.
to a very short end of the road. It's
But the-
115,
but the
Problem is that if the appraisal doesn't happen and all this doesn't happen in a short period of time, there may be no federal funds
I
available.
mean, the appraisal should come in, all the appraisals I've worked on, so maybe Blue Ribbon's not the right fit then, if that's
No,
not.
listen, Blue Ribbon hasn't.
Even done any work yet, okay? They got their contract signed today. I'm confident they're gonna give a real number. I'm just concerned that if this falls apart, you guys end up with no federal money, where right now I can give you the bus money, which is what we had based our plan on, and that's a bird in hand, and reimburse you for the bus. I mean, if you tell me you're gonna raise $9 million, what's the difference between $9 million, $9.5 million, raising funds? You get the bus money now.
What happens to the remainder of the funds? Are we then shorted out because, the.
Yes, you'd be guaranteed the bus money, and then the rest would go back to the city, into the paving projects.
So
Yeah.
Well, what if if you reimburse us $500,000 for the bus, just for round numbers?
Yeah.
So you got 500,000 left over. We buy that property for $1 million, you're gonna take that 500,000, put it towards that property?
That's my same question.
This has to be the Allentown Library.
Yeah, it has to be the Allentown Library.
Split project, right,
Yeah.
so I mean, obviously, the
Still a
VIA.
library project, though.
I'm trying to be creative for you guys, and I want this to work. The problem is that I can see now, 2 years from now, after we've spent $1 million on this property, if it appraises out, no shovel in the ground, we still got a problem, and then we start talking about getting the money back. I could give you the bus money now and call it a day.
Right, but the bus money is only half of what the full allocation is.
Versus-
That leaves money on the table.
Ver-
for the VIA
Versus,
walking away.
versus nothing.
Is there a possibility you could turn it to nothing?
Yeah.
Well, I think that would be our responsibility then, if we are not able to be using follow the federal guidelines. So we are obligated to follow federal guidelines. If we are not gonna use the property for what we anticipate using the property for, then we have the obligation of following the law and doing what needs to be done with that. So, certainly the BIA tends to follow the law, so if there's a reimbursement that needs to be done or a sale that needs to happen.
Listen, we don't question the quality of you guys and what you've done. There's no issue there at all, okay? And we know you went through the ringer in the Blake Building, and really you were kind of screwed in the Blake Building. The problem is you're depending on a lot of moving parts that you have no control over to make this happen with federal funds, and you know the guidelines better than I do on federal funds and how complicated they are. I could simplify this process, reimburse your bus.
But we're still losing $500,000 towards our project.
There's a chance you may losing everything. That's the problem.
But I think that is, are you saying that if we don't, what I'm hearing is if we don't do the bus, you're not willing to give us the money? That's a different story.
Nope, I'm not saying that. I'm throwing out an idea to make you whole immediately, okay? I've got to talk to UHY, I've got to talk, you don't have to make a decision tonight. I'm just planting the seed that you have an opportunity to get reimbursed for the bus 100% right now and close the job and be done with it. As you pursue that, you have a lot of pitfalls that could cost you the entire $950,000 that's left. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you. But I think, we're gonna follow the law. If we're purchasing the property for nearly $1 million, presuming that it appraises out, we could, it's good frontage on the post road. The property could then be sold and reimbursed. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. But I just can't in good faith say to my clients, walk away from $500,000.
So let me ask you a question.
So in the last 5 years, roundabout numbers, what have you raised at the library, would you
I
say?
don't have that number, but there's not been like a project to be able to.
So you have to remember, so over the last couple of years, we have bought property, and then the mayor had come to us multiple times with multiple different properties. I am not in good conscience going to ask my board to continuously do a capital campaign for stuff when we don't have a project in hand. People do not want to give money to a project if they don't know it's actually going to happen. So we need to be able to have the property, have drawings, to be able to then say.
I don't disagree with you, but my question was, what have you raised in the last 5 years? I mean, you have properties that need work, you've got things you want to do. What kind of fundraising has occurred in the last 5 years?
I don't have those numbers in front of me, I'd have to take a look at it. We do some fundraising, we haven't done a lot of it. That is one of the things that the board's looking to do in the next 5 years, is to dramatically do more fundraising. That is on the list of stuff to do, but one of our priorities the last 5 years has been to get a library into Allentown.
That's always been the goal, and I understand that, and that's a worthwhile goal.
We've also seen our budget go, the mayor's been very supportive as our budget goes to getting us where we need to be, so we are not dipping into the endowment as frequently. We are always going after grants. There's not a year that has gone by in my 11 years as the library director that we have not gotten a grant for doing something in respect to doing the upkeep at the library. We continuously look at doing that.
We don't know what those grants totaled in the last 5 years, off the top of your head?
No, I can tell you that we did 6 months ago, we did a $30,000 technology project at the main library. We had 10 years ago, we did the Ora Mason project where we added in the elevator over at Ora Mason. That was a $600,000 project. We got library state grant funding for that. We are also, because we are a distressed municipality, we are pretty much guaranteed to get funding from the state library if we go for a project, as long as we do the grant process correctly.
And I think that number is like $2 million, right?
It is $2 million, yes.
All right, so here's what I would recommend.
Well, before I do, any other questions from everybody? Anybody? Nothing? Okay. I think the best approach is, let's get this appraisal done immediately. Let's see if this thing appraises out, okay? I think that's your quickest obstacle. I'll go back to UHY. I'll tell them what we're dealing with here, and we meet again. I'll meet with, Colleen and Bill in the near future. Any questions from anybody from the library? Anybody? Yes.
I could just make the point
Sure.
that it's very difficult to have a capital campaign when you don't have a major project that is ongoing. I think that there are members of the board who are very anxious to get a capital campaign going, but we need to have some drawings and renderings. We need to have a home. We were kind of in that place when COVID happened, and then the prices of everything went up. So things have changed in the years since we lost our library. But it doesn't mean that we haven't tried hard or don't care about it. And the fact that the capital campaign has not raised a lot of money is because we did not have a project in hand.
It makes sense to me. I'm just concerned.
I don't know, and I have to check with UHY, what is your deadline after you buy this property to get a working library? It doesn't go on forever.
5 years.
And, all right, so, I mean, you've got to, you got 60 months to design this thing, go through all the permitting, raise $9 million in 60 months. That's a tall order.
No one's saying it's not, but I think the board is also, the fact that we were able to get within a week's time in the middle of high summer season, almost the entire board here shows how much the board is behind the project.
All right, we'll start with the appraisal, and we'll be in touch.
Will there be a copy of the contract for the appraisal forwarded over? Or can I
It's right
have
here.
it? Perfect.
It's not much of a contract.
I know Mark's in charge.
Not allowed on this.
That's,
So should we, because we were kind of not involved in the acquisition of the Blue Ribbon contract, would you like us to reach out so we can get this moving,
No,
or?
I think it helps you if a third party unaffiliated with you guys comes in and does the appraisal and you don't have the contact.
I'm just saying, like, we contact Blue Ribbon and say, come out to the property, because,
Well, we have to be the ones that contact the property owner about.
right, we're under due
And
diligence.
you'll work through me, so I've already contacted Blue Ribbon, I asked them for a schedule, I have that tomorrow, I'll call you, and that's when we'll get into the property.
Okay, so we do need to coordinate, because we have a due diligence that allows us to access the property, we have to provide notice.
Yes.
The city can't just go and do the appraisal without going.
Give me some dates, when you want them there.
I have to check with the owner of the building. I don't know if he's still, if he's in town or not. He was away.
So in a traditional purchase and sale agreement, we have due diligence, but we have to provide, I believe, 24 or 48 hours advance notice of when we want to come on, so.
Next week, and I'll make it happen,
Great, that sounds good.
all right?
We'll be in touch with those dates.
Anything else? You guys and ladies have a wonderful night, thanks for being here, appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate the committee's time.
thank
Thank you.
you. Okay, if you look in your booklet, page 15 sort of describes the deadlines that we're up against tonight.
So did they negotiate a price for the property already, which is the $1 million, right? And it has been appraised for that,
No?
okay?
You know, can we go into an executive session right now?
Depending upon the purpose, if the purpose.
Discuss the contract library?
Yes.
Okay. Let's turn the camera off, shut the door. We'll talk, go into executive session.
They need a motion.
Can we make a motion?
Yep. Do you have a second?
I do. Second, make a motion to go into executive session?
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, want to shut that door behind? All right. We're good to go? Okay. So the executive session was specific for discussions about buying real estate with federal dollars and disclosing if we disclose that in public, it could hurt the government's pricing terms on the property. Okay? Now, in the executive session. So the executive session was specific for discussions of. We discussed the process of buying. You ready? You ready? You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Is all that in the record?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We specifically discussed the terms of purchasing the proposed property in executive session to avoid public discussion that would affect those terms. Okay? And no votes were taken. As you know, that's not allowed in executive session. All right, library's done. Let's go to page 21. Here we have a UHY bill for $6,475. Page 21, 22. The motion to accept. Motion?
So moved.
What is it?
Chris, do I have a second? Page 21 and 23, I'm sorry. Go to page 23. No, 22. Okay, any discussion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now go to page 23, you'll see a Carmody bill for $15,805. That goes through page 27.
Okay,
Do you have a motion to
excuse me,
accept?
Mr. Chairman, I
Yes.
do not have a sheet for the $6,475 listed here, so we could make note of that and move forward. This is not, yeah, yes, I know, but
Oh,
I don't have, yes, it's not yet.
See where it's sheet is from the sign off from the initial.
yeah. Missing. Okay, we're back to Carmody. Do we have a motion to accept $15,805 as an invoice, page 23 through 27?
So moved.
Do you have a second? Gary, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's go to Jow Films. Jow Films can be found on page 28 for $300. Do you have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Okay, we'll go Ken and Chris. Any discussion?
$300.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we go to page 29. This is payroll reimbursement. We haven't seen in a while.
Oh,
And this is the Office of the Finance Director. And this is for
35,000.
Susan, who is our liaison here in the city, and they have not submitted any payroll to now. So we have that. This represents a large period of time, $35,248.60. The motion to accept. Motion?
I'd like to check those dates.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
What page is that on?
This is on page 29. It represents January 19th through
Oh.
July 24th.
Page 9.
I second.
Okay, any discussion? All in
Second.
favor, say aye.
Aye.
Turn the page on your agenda. Next, Parks Fund. So here's what we've got. We have quite a few invoices. This is called the micro purchases. Those invoices total $35,929.32. And I put them here, if you want to see them, and run them this way. I'll give you a few minutes to peruse them.
Says invoices total what? Parks Fund, micro purchases. 2, 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, 13.
Both should be out of it, not just.
Oh,
I didn't see it like it's on there. I think just.
Yeah. So these are micro purchases, and we do have a micro purchase policy. That policy says the price has to be reasonable. You have to save the receipt. You have to tell us what you're using it for. And Ernie, who's very good, followed all of that.
So the micro purchase limit had been $10,000, and it went up to 15 on October 1 of last year. So if you make purchases below those dollar thresholds, you don't have to solicit any competitive proposals, but you do have to convince yourself that the price is reasonable, either through industry information or personal knowledge of somebody who is in the business.
And these are, most of these are under $1,000, by the way. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't want to make, I mean, I'd have to make the book this bigger plus that, so I couldn't do it.
Yeah, and also what we did on the ethics form is just combine them rather than have you sign off on each individual invoice with the same vendor. We have that by vendor, so that you just have to sign once for the multiple invoices.
Take hours.
Yeah, that's gonna take a good time to look through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the invoices for the different. Invoices. Showing invoices for purchases.
Chris, these are the Frontier invoices, which is next.
And 16.
Oh, see, this one?
No,
Parks.
this park fund and the invoice. I was just looking for all of these park funds. We are separated by invoices.
That is the fees for the internet for the cams on the boardwalk. That's all included.
The fees.
Okay, do we have a motion
Money to
on
The 1,800 and change.
$35,929.32 for the Parks Fund invoices, micro purchases? Gary?
Okay, so I have a lot of separate,
On Parks?
yes, on.
Let's do
park.
the motion first, and we'll go to discussion. Gary's got it first, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion, go ahead.
Okay, so we just approved, we just made a motion to approve what, 38?
$35,000, 929.32.
And that would include all of these, I'm assuming.
Well, it's bigger than that.
And,
Includes the whole file.
yeah.
Because now this is storm management, so I'm assuming it would include all of these.
Oh, with just one of those. I'm gonna staple it to it.
All right. Right. I just wanted to check the numbers.
Yeah, Right here. You checked him, buddy. If I don't bring this back to my office, I get killed. I gotta make sure we save that. All right.
We just, one sign.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's go
Leave that
to
together.
page 30. I got LaTeX for $19,847 under stormwater management. Do you have a motion to approve? Do
So moved.
you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I just want to point out in discussion that Public Works is doing a fantastic job cleaning these basins, following the engineer's plan. And with all the rains we've had, we still have flooding, but far fewer phone calls. Council people have called me to say, we ain't getting all the calls we used to get in big rainstorms, because the system is being cleaned out and being brought back to life. So kudos to Public Works. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, I've got Connecticut Precast Corp. This is material on page 31 for the city to perform work on the city infrastructure for drainage. $84,450. Have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, I got page 32. Actually, I'll do it all at once. I've got a bunch of Amazon bills. These are for road closure signs, because the railroad passes are always flooded. You can't do anything, the low spot in the city. So I got $290, $835.68, $111.96, $63.99, $143.96, $17.98, roughly $1,500. Do you have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do you have a second?
Stormwater management.
Second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
With that, please go to page 38. Here we have the West Haven Public Library. I just handed that to Chris. That's a large packet. It's been vetted. $5,586.01. That's our Navigator program. Great program. Do you have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Rohan and Diaz, yep.
Ayers.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's go to page 39. Motion carries. Let's go to page 39. Okay, so this is an estimate, not a bill, to replace the double doors serving the electrical vault in City Hall. The first set of doors that we ordered, UI said no. It took 7 months to meet the specs. Had to get the fire marshal involved, the building inspector, the UI engineers, all for this door. We have the money in the account. We're still in the budget, $5,016. So a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Do you have a second? 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 Any discussion?
I want to see the door.
I know. So here was the challenge on that door. It has to be fire rated,
Yeah.
but it has to have a vent. You can't have both. That was the fight. You can't have a fire rated door, we're holding it. So, all right. Do we
Big
go?
auto louvers or something to close?
No. We got a first and a second. Did we just pass a motion on this? I lost track. Okay. All right, next, let's go to Boardwalk camera monitoring. That is, I think you guys have that, right? That's all Frontier.
Frontier.
It's roughly $2,000 a month.
Yeah, 17 something.
Okay. Do you have a motion to approve all the Frontier invoices for the cameras? We had approved this proposal months ago, years ago. It goes through December of '26, okay? Do you have a motion to approve these invoices?
Make a motion to approve.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Chris, any discussion?
Yes, so I'm curious to know, once the ARPA fund expires, is the city gonna pick up the tab to monitor these cameras?
We're gonna have to. Some other fund will have to do it, not us. Yeah. Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's go down to Newington Electric. I'm happy to say they finally finished the last breaker, page 40.
You guys missing me up.
It met all the muster, it all did well. That was at the,
What is this again?
this is the breaker for the senior center, Noble Community Center, main breaker. We had to go in there, we had to kick everybody out of the building for a day. They lost the school for an entire day, the kindergarten school. And we had to shut the building down and replace the main breaker, and then test all the smaller breakers. This was this is by contract. The problem was they never performed, and they're 8 months past their contract. But we kept the price, $45,536. Do I have a motion to approve? Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and you can see that on the tracker now that it's been fulfilled. That's been hanging out there for some time. All right, next we go to page 41 through 45. This is arts. I've got Hearst Media for $690. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. 46 through 47, I have the Whiffen Poofs at Yale. Do I have a motion to approve for $2,500?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that. The whips for $2,500. That's pretty good.
Yep. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Let's go to East West Productions, $8,000, page 48.
What is that?
Motion to approve? So moved. Do I have a second? Second.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's go to page 50 and 51. Regular Nick Inc., Nick Fradiani, $12,000. With a motion to approve. Motion?
Motion.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, moving on. We have the animal shelter. I have a contract negotiation with Carmody and the contractor who's Milestone, $2,765, page 52 through 54. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Moving on, we go to page 56. Tilcon, this is work done covered by ARPA funding for paving, $300,000, page 56 through 58. Do I have a motion to approve?
How does the work look? Good.
Good work. State contract.
Make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Chris. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we go to page 59. Now, this is Housing Crisis Grant. Now, what this basically is, are the things they have to buy for the housing. That includes food on a regular basis, cleaning supplies. That entire packet is right here. So instead of reading each invoice, they pass it around and then we'll go through it.
What do you do for cleaning service?
Well, for the general cleaning, but, you know, they have to have something, some Windex and paper towels on site when someone throws up, and the cleaning service is there.
And these invoices are going back for when, from when? Like,
There's dates on them. I would say they're probably about a year. Now, we also have Connecticut Transit in here twice. The law requires that they provide transportation to and from the shelter. The bus passes are the $1,400 charges. So they spend about $2,800 in a year and a half on bus passes.
And to and from job opportunities.
and to and from job opportunities. They gotta pay for their transportation.
And most of the stuff's under $300.
I'm just curious why they can't submit this like every 3 months. Why they don't submit their invoices quarterly?
Well, in this case, they were micro purchases, they go through the process. I wanted to make sure that our micro purchase was in writing before they submitted them, we're okay. So I'd like a motion to approve $13,997.82. Do
So moved.
you have a second? Second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have Amazon for Painter Park.
Yeah, I think I signed for this.
This is a separate booklet. So a lot of this are parts for benches and equipment that they can buy on Amazon cheaper than they can buy from somebody else, okay? So those are the Amazon ones. And I'm looking for a motion for $5,128 and for $282.46 for Amazon for parks.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good luck.
Motion carries. Is there any new business from any member? Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Now that we're adjourned, I want to share that when I was the managing director